On May 20th, 2022, AJ Delgado tweeted, "By the way, to folks lost, sus means suspicious. Elon speaks street." This is the Museum of Twitter, the show where we talk about the most important tweets in the history of Twitter.com. I'm sorry I'm doing my third Elon Musk related tweet in the last 2 months, but he's in the news and I like to be topical when I can. Although this is definitely wishful thinking, because he'll probably be in the news for every day for the rest of my life if things keep going the way they're going. And this is one of the cringiest tweets by him or about him. But it's part of a larger conversation, so let me go through that. It started off with Elon on that same May 20th, 2022 saying, "Sus man," or "sus man." Not really sure. AJ Delgado responds with, "It is indeed sus." And then she follows up her own tweet with parentheses that say, "By the way, to folks lost, sus means suspicious. Elon speaks street." Now, there's a lot wrong here, most of which being the sentence, "Elon speaks street," but I really did want to find out what the context to all of this was, just for your benefit. So what happened on May 20th that would make Elon Musk say, "Sus man"? Not that anyone can necessarily make sense of anything Elon Musk says, but the night before, a Business Insider story dropped about a SpaceX flight attendant who had sued Elon Musk because he had exposed himself and propositioned her for sex, and SpaceX ended up paying out $250,000 for her silence. It's very possible that Elon Musk was calling this sus, although I don't really know how you can call it sus when it was your own company that paid out $250,000 and paid her to be silent. Like, those are your documents that show that. There's something suspicious about that. But anyway, it does seem very much in Elon's character to take something as serious as a sexual misconduct allegation and say, "Sus, man." Because that's not at all how a grown, responsible adult would respond to the situation, which is how you know it's a way that Elon Musk would respond to the situation. But then AJ Delgado comes in and says, "It is indeed sus." Now, if you ever peruse the political parts of Twitter, not that you ever should do this, you have seen AJ Delgado's name come up. I actually had never looked into who she was. She just seemed like another one of those people with a blue check who said conservative talking points, occasionally said something that went viral because it was stupid. But because I take my job as curator seriously, I looked into who she was and I found out some really interesting stuff. Specifically, she is a conservative commentator and attorney, and she was on the 2016 Trump campaign. Now, she was looking to be a part of the Trump White House, and she was probably going to be. She was part of the transition team. But during this time, she had gotten into a sexual relationship with another Trump advisor, Jason Miller. Jason Miller, it's worth noting, was married at the time. And she became pregnant with Jason Miller's baby, brought this up to the people in Trump world, and she ended up not getting a job in the Trump administration because of it. She and Miller did not end up together. She moved back home with her mom, and now she spends most of her day, it seems, being a conservative commentator, aka tweeting on Twitter and whatnot. Her Twitter bio says she's a MAGA original, but now proudly anti-Trump, and I'm sure that that's true to some extent, but when I looked up her tweeting about Elon, it's not really clear where she stands on him. Just recently, when there was that whole controversy about Elon Musk's baby mama, Ashley St. Clair, AJ Delgado went on a whole thread talking about how every woman in the conservative ecosystem would be begging to have Elon Musk's baby. So I really don't know. But at the very least, in 2022, she was in Elon Musk's mentions echoing his statement that it was sus, man, and that led to her saying that Elon speaks street. But let's talk about the word sus. Obviously, sus became a very popular term among gamers when Among Us was big during the pandemic. If you thought someone maybe was a bad guy, you called them sus, and so that is undoubtedly where Elon got it. And that context is not street at all. But obviously, Among Us players did not invent shortening suspicious to sus. And if I'm going to dignify the idea of speaking street, you could say that at one time sus was street speak. But once again, I really don't want to dignify that as a concept because it's obviously racially coded. And what we can all agree on is once teenagers playing a video game speaking over Discord are using your term, it's no longer street speak. And so that is to explain how AJ Delgado said one of the cringiest things ever said on Twitter.com. Because if there ever was a man in the history of the world who definitely doesn't speak street, it is Elon Musk. Because when I think of someone who really knows the streets, I don't think of South African emerald mine heir who parlayed that into being a tech billionaire. I do want to briefly allow for the possibility that AJ Delgado was joking, because one of her replies to this tweet was, "LMAO, this set the Anon incels on fire. How do you people get up every day with such a rod in your ass and zero sense of humor?" Now, the reason I don't think that this is proof that the Elon speak street part is a joke is because I think what she thinks the joke is saying sus to begin with. And if you're thinking, "Jake, that's not a joke at all," the only thing I have to say is that you are very lucky that you have never been on the conservative part of Twitter. Anyway, this tweet resulted in a lot of responses of people being disgusted or mocking it. Ghost Maggie Sirota responded with the photo of that Serbian politician who drank poison after being sentenced to death, which is honestly one of my favorite meme images, and I use it all the time, and no one likes it, and it really makes me mad. I'm sorry, there's just nothing funnier in the world to me than reacting to a normal piece of news with, "I have not taken poison." Stardust Handshake quoted it with a gif from the scene from Airplane where the old white woman speaks jive. The difference between that scene and AJ Delgado's tweet, obviously, is that the scene from Airplane is hilarious. And lots of people did a joke like this. I think McLean's was the best, which was street in question. I can only judge so much because this is the aerial view of the street that I mostly grew up on. And other lame Elon worship has been compared to Elon Speak Street. Like when this account said that Elon would beat Zuck in a fight because, Elon and Zuckerberg were gonna do a MMA fight for some reason. And he said that Zuck has never been in a street fight, so it should be easy for you. As if Elon Musk has been in a street fight. It's also sometimes used when someone tries to academically explain an internet term, like when Aprojita said stonks is a humorous internet internet slang term often used in memes to represent ... Latex says Elon speaks street. I think the reason why the Elon speaks street tweet became so big at the time and is still occasionally referenced as something that is wedged in my head is because I think it gets at one of the most annoying parts about Elon Musk, is that the way that Elon Musk sees himself, he definitely thinks that he speaks street. At the very least, he thinks he speaks like the youth. He thinks he speaks like the people who are important. The man just last week said, "I am become meme," which is the lamest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I dislike him for a lot of concrete, important reasons, but I also really dislike him because he's the lamest person on the planet. He is 53 years old. A 53-year-old should not be speaking in a way to try to impress 20-year-olds who never leave their basement. A 53-year-old should not care about what 20-year-olds who never leave their basement think about them at all. In fact, caring about those opinions is extremely, if I may say it, sus. Follow me for a new tweet every day and consider subscribing at patreon.com/museum of Twitter. We get the weekly Museum of Not Twitter, and you can vote on what I cover on Subscriber Sundays.